Well, hey guys, how you doing? So I bought a new place, as you may have saw. I got a new shop here, and this was sitting out behind the shop, and it'll pull, but none of the switches up here work. So I probably have to take this all apart to see if I can get it going. That's not. And the fly came out. That's not the best sign. So I'll probably start tearing it apart just to see if I can loosen everything up and get it going again. The trimmer head seems okay. It probably just needs string. These sell for like $135, which isn't a lot. I've seen them down at the Ace here in town. And I actually have already ordered a carburetor for this because it was $11. I figure I can't go wrong for $11. A rebuild kit for this car was like $8, and this kit comes with a carburetor, it comes with a spark plug, and all the fuel lines. So I figure if I take this, open this up, try and get it going, see if it'll start off starting fluid or something, we can at least put a new carb on it and go from there. But I got to get, all the cables and everything working. I have a vast selection of fluids and liquids to pour down this. This has gas in it. I'm sure it's bad. We'll pour that out here, but I just want to start taking this apart and see what's in here. I mean, the first thing is the air filter is completely buggered up. So that's probably a lot of it. There's a little bit of dirt in here. We should blow this out maybe. Probably should have blown all this off before we can you hear that? Does that make noise? Should have blown this off. Ew. Before we took off the air filter, but there's the end of that cable down there. That's the choke right there. It just closes this little flappy do in there. Oh my goodness. Well, it looks like we need a bunch of Torx to take this apart. So I'll grab one of those and bring you back, and we'll take off the plastic housing here and see what happens. We're going a little musty one today, working on something other than a vehicle. Hey, that's hot. I bet just these two. Now they're all gonna go. Oh, gas is coming out. holding this top on at this point. Oh, I somehow loosened up that entire shaft. Okay, so we've got this all apart. Pretty simple. You have to take the back off first. There's 3 screws in the pull start part, and then there's a hidden screw underneath here from the bottom that holds the top case and everything on. So that's pretty simple. It wasn't too bad. Oops, dropped the camera. And our tank is not spilling, that's good. And then all of our cables run through here. So you can see the throttle cable is that one right there that's wiggling. And then this is the release here and our switch. And they all run around that direction of various things. So shouldn't be too hard to get to. All I think I need to do is just clean this up, get the cables working, get this switch working, and clean it out. It just kind of was sitting behind the shed for a while. There's our coil and our magneto and our fan. And I hope that's a clutch of some sort. It is, I'm sure. And the wand slid out. There's just a shaft cable in there. Real easy. 3 bolts that go in along this part here. So got our air compressor going. We will blow this out and start getting fluids in there and see if we can start cleaning up some of the cableways and get the cable moving. Okay. All right, I know I'm no musty one here, but I do like messing with small engines. We got this trigger freed up and our switch kind of freed up. It works now and again. And more importantly, come on. There we go. We got our throttle moving over here. And this is just on this old carb. We're not probably gonna put a new carb in here because it comes with all these hoses, which are dead. Those are all spongy, probably from ethanol fuel. The tank still has some crap in it. I gotta clean that out. But I gotta get the starter motor back on here. I think I can do that without the housing. But I think I want to get the housing on there too, just so it's kind of all stuck together and I can see if this spins and works. I'll clean that up. I'll get this all back together, and we can try the pull start a couple times with just some starter in there and see what happens. It does spin. There we go. And it's got compression. Nearly took a finger off. There we go. So it's got compression. So that's a good sign. I think this will work. Pretty good for a free weed eater I found in the yard. I keep thinking to myself, what would Musty One do here? Well, Musty One would have boxes and boxes of parts, years and years of know-how on small engines, and he might even have a broken spring. I don't know if you can see that right down there. We've got a broken return spring on our starter here. So that kind of sucks. Not excited by that. I can pull it out of here and maybe make a new end that sits right down over there, just bent in there. Pretty easy. If these let loose, you're kind of stuck. It's not too bad, but it's doable. I don't want to do it, but I guess I'm going to do it. All right, got our starter rope back in there. I had to fix the spring. I had to take off a piece and then heat it, so that took the springiness out of it, because it's kind of temper, and then bend it around there, and then, sure enough, this little thing pulls. But will it start? Let's give it a little bit of starting fluid. Yes, it starts. It might even run, but the carburetor's probably not good on this. And like I said, we've got a bad hose. So we know that that's on anyway. And then that needs to be down to get things going. But it runs as is. So we'll get that new carb, get it in here, put this all back together, lube up our shaft and everything. And then we've got to look at the trimmer head itself, which is all there. It's probably just stuck and or needs line. I know it needs line. So that seems to be spinning just fine too. So we do all that and we'll get this back together. I'll bring you back as soon as I get the carburetor for this. We'll take this carb off, put a new one on, get this all back together, clean out this tank, and we'll have ourselves a string trimmer. Cool. Thanks. Well, it's been a couple days and our carburetor came in, and you can see it's about the same as that one. It's got the bulb on the top. This one has adjusters on the side. This one, they're kind of blocked off, so that's good, I guess. The problem I'm having is these studs getting this thing off. They look huge in the camera here, but my socket, where is it? Won't fit down in there very well. I kind of have to stretch this out, so I have to put some pressure on it and use two hands and try and get that. I got it soaking also in PB Blaster right now to try and get that out. So we'll see. Once I can get this off, then the carb will come off and it should be a piece of cake to get all this back on. You can see this new fuel line looks a little bit different than the old fuel line. That one was poofed up pretty badly. The new one's in decent shape. I guess it was the wrong end, but you can see this end's the same. We'll get all this on and get it in there, and it should work great. I hope so. Put a new spark plug in too. That came in, the new filter. So let me try and get this old carb off and we'll see what happens. All right, so we got our socket in there. You just have to push down into there, and that just pulls off the cover. There's a gasket there. Our carburetor. Oh, we'll have to disconnect our line over here and just pull this out. And let me put you on a stand and we'll do that. There we go, using our new rolly chair. Oh, I gotta pull. I gotta get that up. Get three hands in here. There, pull off the throttle cable. And there we go. Has someone been here before? Because this is like a, yeah, it's the right stuff, but pretty easy. We've got these hoses. I don't remember which hose went where. Look at the old one. Well, obviously, dummy, the shorter one goes to the bottom, so that's easy. These shaped anyway. No, that's not that one. That's the outside one because it has a little tiny hole in it. So that's easy. And this one, I'm gonna assume goes that way because there's a little hole there and we got a hole there. So if this goes like this, like so, and then our carb goes in there, and this guy goes on like that, right? And we can get our
throttle cable on here. Turn this the right way. Probably putting my head right in the way, aren't I? Okay, got our throttle cable in there. That goes on like that. But I'm going to put on our new fuel line before I do that, because then I can get my fat fingers up in there. That went on like that. Get that one on like that. There. And then we'll put our filter plate and choke stuff back on there. Right? Everything looks good. I've got little need on those. Will this help? Don't know. It seems to have got it started. Got that started on there anyway. And we'll get this one in there. And get it started. And then this takes a little bit of a bigger push to get in there. These are really long-winded for how small they are. There we go. Don't need to over tighten it. It's just a tiny little carburetor. You can see our choke is just a little plate that just covers in there, and that's it. So now we can put our tank back on. I got to take the pull start off to get the tank between its little connectors there, and the filter goes on this end like so, and that goes down in our tank. Where'd your tank go? Where's your tank? So our tank's gonna go in right here, filter and everything inside there. That little rattly is so we don't lose our cap, which is pretty nice, not to lose our cap. And do this while you guys are here. Come around this side. These weren't really tight on here. I just had it sitting in there. Now that comes off. And our tank put this on. We'll seat our grommet in there. There we go. The tank. Sits in there like so. There we go. Well, you gotta do this. There we go. It's a sandwich. And that all sits in there like that. Where'd my screwdriver go? You still see that? Yeah, you can kind of see that. And then all this. You put a regular screwdriver in here. I can't reach. There we go. Make sure those are all good and snug. There we go. We got our carburetor back in there. Our adjustment screw doesn't fit, huh? Because we got, well, I might have to do some changing here. You can see we've got our filter housing here is kind of sitting up against our adjustment screw. I might have to take this off and make a change. But here's our filter housing. It's right here. See, that sets over our screw, so that's not going to be good. Can you all see that? Yeah, so right here it sets on our little adjustment screw, and the old one didn't even have that one. didn't have either. It was kind of sealed from the factory, so we'll see what we do with that. I might pull that apart and take off the plastic bit, but that's all together now. At least we got the filter in the tank on, all this hooked up, and I'll bring it back together. I'm gonna look and see what changes I can make here, and we'll try and start this up again. Oh, I'll put a spark plug in too. You know how to put a spark plug in. All right, we made a slight mod here. I don't know if you can see that. I got rid of the upper clip on this air filter, which it'll be fine. And the air filter goes in like so. It sits down inside of here. There we go. Like so. And the housing should clip on. I think this carburetor is slightly different than the original. I might have to mod the top part too, because it's kind of hitting this hose. There we go. That moves. It's just a press fit in there. There we go. Now it's in there. There's our choke. And I noticed our throttle cable. There it goes. Might end up in exactly the same place, but you guys see that? Yeah.
Good. Yep, that works back there. Our throttle cable works. Returns, these are our adjustments. Got our new plug in. And I say we put in some fuel. This is the true fuel. About halfway for now. I did clean out the tank. Let's see if we can get hey, we've got fuel coming up here. How much we're supposed to have. Well, we got this to start off just some starter fluid before we put everything back together. I don't know how hard it's going to be now with it all back together, but we'll make some pulls. See what happens. I mean, we just made some pulls, obviously. See what we can get. I got this switch on, but does this switch work? Should we do a musty one here? Check our spark. I can smell it. I don't know if you guys will see that or not. I can barely see it. I'll do a couple things and I'll bring you back. Well, of course I don't have the camera going. But it was a little bit flooded, so I had to kind of dry it out. Forgot to start the camera, but it's running. I need to adjust the carb, put the filter back in. But it works. I've got to get some string. I don't have any string. And it will trim up the yard with this. All right, it's a few days later and some parts came in. I got a strap for holding this up. Got a new head, a little different style, but these just screw on right here. They're super easy to put on. There's a hex in here that goes into the top of this. I should have shown you all this. Well, here. There's a hex like that holds it onto the machine, and then just a kind of a nut in there that holds this together. This was missing a spring and a bunch of other stuff, so it's together now. So let's go outside and see how it do. Well, it seems to work just fine. We got a lot of stuff growing up all over the place. can't see it in this video, but there's grass and everything I need to get away from the buildings and whatnot. We're in fire season right now, so I want to make sure nothing burns down. Got some trash to pick up, got a trailer, loading that up. So anyway, we'll bring you back on the next adventure. Thanks for joining me today.